And please welcome up Melina Gagudi.
Well, I see the room is a little bit hot. Maybe we're a little bit sleepy. We're digesting the excellent food that was brought by Nancy. So I suggest that we all stand up and we're going to do a little bit of movement on this side. So stand up, everybody, and just shrug your legs and move and stretch and get the energy flowing. And the energy needs to go to your brain so that when I ask questions now, you're going to answer and give you a lot of creative answers. So we can roll and stretch and lean over backwards. We feel good. Do we feel good? Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is so great. Do we feel good? Yes. Exactly. Thank you. Please sit back down. We are now ready to talk about embracing change. The first thing we're going to talk about is why we are changing from requiring maybe an hour of training for club officers to 2.5 hours. So what we want is club officers that are more knowledgeable about how they can impact the quality of their clubs. And we want to make sure that we are going from a situation where maybe we're spending 10, 15 minutes on DCP, maybe 40, 45 minutes on officers' roles. And people saw the same presentations year after year, and some were telling us, wow, you know, I've attended that several times, but I still need to go through it. So now we're going to have a new presentation where we're going to talk about enhancing quality that is built by Toastmasters International, and that has some interactive exercises, some of which we did earlier today. So we want to make sure that we have 4 officers trained in each club. It will be your job to influence your club officers to come and attend. So you need to put a good quality presentation, and you need to cover 3 topics. We're going to talk about dates, deadlines. We're going to talk about creating a quality club, and then you can have breakout sessions where you're going to talk about the roles. Now, I will have the first question, which is, for those officers that have been in Toastmasters for a long, long time, and that tell us, you know, I have heard that several times, what can you do to engage them?
Or, I was just going to say, you can try to use them as a resource. So you can ask questions. Okay, what do you do in terms of your officers? What do you do? Okay, what does this mean? You can ask them questions and have them be you don't have to reinvent the wheel, so you get a lot of expertise in the group. Use that.
Absolutely, very good answer. Leverage their experience to exercises where they can participate.
In Nebraska, we called officer training TLI. I know, you think I'm a geek, but it was the most fun we ever had. And it might have been the same presentation, but it wasn't the same presentation because we made it more like a game. And so one officer training was more like a Jeopardy, and another officer training was more like Wheel of Fortune, and another officer training was more like, I don't even remember the name of the game, but it was more like interactive and game-like rather than being lectured at or talked down to. And I would love to take some of those ideas and use them up here because I think there's a lot of people interested.
Yes, absolutely. Excellent answers. So now, let's review a few of the key dates and deadlines. They are also available for you to find on the yearbook and quick reference guide. Month by month, you will know what the important dates are that you need to take into consideration. So, July 25th, TLI, where you can invite a lot of your officers to attend good training, and we talked about that earlier. know, August, we are going to have the club officers training due. And then soon we're going to talk about club dues. And then, you know, later on in October, we'll have the conference. So the to-dos for you are to visit your clubs, get them on your schedule, make sure that you develop a distinguished area plan, the same way the clubs develop their own distinguished plan. You can do one for your area, and then you can plan your speech contest for your area. Again, for resources, you have the leadership handbook that you can utilize. And with that, I am now going to switch over to another presentation. Any question about anything that I have just covered?
My understanding is 2.5 hours per round.
Correct.
I know my guess, and it's totally a guess, is that I know some of the clubs are kind of balking at spending an hour on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like 2.5 times as much.
Yes.
Can we break it up into pieces?
I don't know. I don't know that I would recommend that, but maybe I'm going to ask you, what do you think you can do about it? How do you think you can approach your club so that they have a positive response versus saying,
Sort of
oh,
bribery.
bribery? Okay, maybe that's not the best way to go about it. But
I'm at a corporate president meeting during lunch, so a lot of our officers times are limited, but they're only allotted their lunchtime to meet for an hour. So I think we might have to break ours up or have an evening session. But I don't think be available for that.
yeah, an evening session would be an answer, absolutely. Any other answer about how you think you may approach the clubs?
Encourage them to participate or attend the training at the TLI.
Yes, that is an excellent answer. What else?
Well, you can have it like at a restaurant, so it's like a happy hour with appetizers and so.
Hey, can I join?
That's right. It should be that they will come.
One of the members in my club is finishing up his second DTM, and to do that, he's going to give a good meeting seminar. How to have a productive meeting seminar, and he wants all our incoming officers to attend that. That would count as part of the. I mean, it'd be an hour, and then that would leave us with another hour and a half to do other officer training. Does that count? And
So what we are recommending is the 3 topics. And so if the presentations would be aligned with the 3 topics, then absolutely.
Okay,
great, absolutely. And so I see that the computer has become creative, which is what we want of any Toastmasters, but not of the computer. And I have to admit that I don't have a backup plan. So, well, I can't get it.
It's probably a loose connection,
No,
just because it's changing color.
it's on with the projectors.
More likely.
Okay, so now, Training the Trainer is about talking to you about how to make a presentation enjoyable so that people retain more about the training. Who can give me examples of training they attended that was fun? We already had some examples earlier where the training was done utilizing games like Wheel of Fortune or whatnot. What other types of trainings have you attended where it was fun?
We gave a training last year where you passed around the camera and people took pictures of the table, so I thought that was pretty fun. That made it more engaging.
Yeah. What else?
I was engaged when I was learning more from my peers than from being lectured from the front. So when I got to where I was sharing some idea dialogue versus just top down, that really drew me in. That's the one part.
So what I'm understanding is that, for example, any exercise where some people share from the room, you learn more from what the people are saying than you learn from someone speaking out here, right? That is why when I ask questions, you need to answer, because that is how you're gonna learn. Absolutely, I agree with that. What else would you have as an example of a training that you attended that you thought was successful and enjoyable? Food, absolutely. What else? How can you make it enjoyable?
Had a lot of enthusiasm.
Have passion, enthusiasm, absolutely.
I would try to make it interactive.
Interactive, so like the audience needs to be engaged and you need to engage their brain, like, you know, all the tricks and tips that we learn about speeches,
I'd
we
make
can,
them participate.
we can utilize here on the training, absolutely. Any other ideas, Ravi?
I'd like to share that often we have professional or aspiring professional speakers who are willing to look for opportunities to speak. So you can have them create a humorous keynote speech address, which will not only be entertaining, but it will give them an opportunity to practice and as well as sell their skills outside of Toastmaster clubs.
Yeah, and there are a few clubs that have a lot of those members. Can you give me an example of one of those clubs?
Well, there is Power Talk, I think.
Power Talk, have you heard about Power Talk? A lot of professional speakers are there. Anybody knows about any other club where they have a lot of professional people that maybe would be willing to help you put your training together and deliver part of it?
I'd like to also add that District 6 has Speakers Bureau, where people actually send in their bios and resumes. And this year, you can actually contact District 6 to get speakers from there. Not necessarily for training, but definitely for a specific topic if there is a match between what you're requesting and what they are offering.
Okay, great.
Can we use, as part of the quality, so quality is a lot of line, but like moments of truth and some of the, you know, more effective the mentorships. Can we use those modules as part of the training?
Yes.
So if you get somebody who wants to do one of those or needs to do one of those.
Yes, okay, absolutely. So I see that we're soon ready. And maybe, yes, I see a hand raised over there.
Remember that DEC is like, let's say you got a meeting, you could, when you're doing one of the speeches, you like get up and do kind of what's the rules on, that kind of thing, you know, this is what this guy does, this is what this guy does. You can kind of incorporate into the speeches at the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. During the meeting, you have the opportunity as well to be teaching about different concepts. So today's agenda is about wanting to make sure that we give you different tips and techniques to think about how you can make your training more engaging and learn ways that you can teach the DCP. Although the DCP is no longer mandatory, it is part of the club quality presentation that we will give you the direction for on the website whenever we have better lines on the projector. We're going to teach you how to present it in a more effective way and more fun way.
So, did I just hear you right? You said the DCP is not required?
Correct. The DCP is no longer required as a separate topic for training.
But it's included in the quality club.
It's included in the quality club presentation that we are going to be delivering. Okay. Yeah, but it's not going to be every DCP topic is different and separate. Well, so without having the presentation, I'm just going to talk about the fact that training really is different than when you give speeches. When you're giving a speech, you're more lecturing, and although you may utilize techniques to make it engaging, when you're training, what we recommend is that you use different techniques that are going to be allowing the audience to retain a higher percentage of your presentation than if you were doing a lecture. And what we are recommending is that you provide training catering to different learning styles. Who can tell me about the 3 main learning styles that everybody talks about?
Visual.
Audio. Exactly. And then when we type tasks, sometimes people take in aesthetics, so that's why some people like fidget with their sheets or their pen. And if you provide a training that addresses these 3 different learning styles, then you have a higher chance that the audience is going to remember a higher percentage of your training than if you're giving your lecture from the front. So,
Breeze down those learning styles one more time.
yes. So one is auditory. So some people, they hear by learning. Some people, they learn by visualizing. So if you present pictures, it's colored, that is how they're going to retain the information. And then the other style is tactile and aesthetic. And some people there, they learn by doing, experiencing it. And so if you address the 3 learning styles, you're going to have a higher retention. Okay, now when you're also delivering training, what you need to take into consideration is also the population that you're training. For example, people, the millennials, how long is their attention span? 45 seconds, I think that's a little bit high.
That's pretty high.
12 minutes or less.
So very short. And therefore, you need to be engaging and changing activities regularly so that you keep them awake. Otherwise, they are completely going to disengage. What are differences that you think you need to address as well when you train? We talked about learning styles, we talked about age. What are the other characteristics that you need to take into consideration when you're training an audience?
Well, like, not only learning style for like if you have disabilities, some people might have hearing or vision, or they may need note takers, or where they should be placed. Some people when they put in front of the audience stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Cultural
Cultural.
and
Yes.
even regional differences.
Even regional as well. Oh, and it's working now. And it's fabulous. So let's go back to where we were. So here it's a quote from Benjamin Franklin that talks about the fact that if you tell me I forget, if you teach me and I may remember, but if you involve me, I really learn. And so here's also a chart that shows that if you have a training that's more interactive, fun, that has a variety of training methodologies, the percentage of the training that people are going to retain is going to be higher. So you can give the exact same training and have the exact same content. If you change the way you deliver the training, in one case, people are not going to remember anything, and in the other case, they are going to remember much more. Knowing that in any training, people will never remember 100% of what you're telling them. And so this is why, as well, you can give people different handouts of what we are doing today, so that people can refer back to the information, and they don't need to commit to memory all the information that we are sharing. So here is what I'm talking about, the 4 officers that need to be trained. TLI would like to be fixed. So here are some characteristics of when you're speaking versus when you're training. So when you're training, you're informing, you're entertaining, you're inspiring and motivating, such as when you're speaking, but you have even more participation. And so in training, what we are asking you is to engage the participants in more complex activities. So when we are training our officers, our objective is to make sure that we inspire them and we educate them. So we need to do both at the same time. So it is not only about sharing knowledge, but also about asking them to set goals, asking them to reach beyond their club, or whatever you want to inspire your clubs to do. This is the opportunity to do so. So what we are recommending is to not give a speech or a lecture, and to not speak for long periods of time, and to not tell them what to do. And with that, we are now going to go to DCP, and we are going to do a little exercise. So I'm now going to ask that we create, again, the 8 groups that we had today. So the people that were by themselves, if you can join the bigger groups, you're going to have 8 tables. And I'm going to add that at each of the 8 tables, we have someone that is going to keep score. And we're going to do a game. So who is here volunteers to be keeping scores? Everybody has to designate someone to keep scores at their table. Okay. And so the way it works is I'm going to be asking questions. And if someone answers at your table, then you get a point. Is that pretty clear?
No, say again.
Or the entire table. So if someone speaks at your table, you get a point. So of course, the more people you have at your table, the higher chances to have points. So now we are in competition. Who wants to win? We do. Everybody. Okay. The first question that I would have for you is, what is the value of having a DCP plan for a club?
It sets goals for the club.
1 point.
Measuring stick.
1 point.
Keeps people working on goals.
1 point.
Keeps them engaged.
1 point.
Reduces attrition.
1 point.
Reduces attrition, so they are working on their goals.
1 point.
If the club is meeting their goals, then members are meeting their goals.
1 point. Proof and roadmap. 1 point.
Motivation.
Vision. 1 point. Helps develop quality club. 1 point.
Helps develop leaders.
Helps develop leader. 1 point.
Motivates.
Motivates the club. 1 point.
Increases your membership.
1 point.
They have put your hand up high.
They have fun.
Yeah, you have fun. 1 point.
Teamwork.
Say that again.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. 1 point.
Provide a common goal there.
Provided common goals. 1 point.
Some growth.
Say that again.
The growth.
Their growth. 1 point. Improve leadership skills. 1 point.
It compensates for members that may leave your club.
Compensates for members that leave the club. 1 point.
Attrition.
Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Okay, we have 10 points and we can achieve different levels of being distinguished. We have 5, we're distinguished, we have 7, we're select, we have achieved 9 points, we are very distinguished. What would be the value of having 10 points? Right? Get an award. Gotcha.
You met all your goals.
You met all your goals.
You're the best of the area.
You're best of the area.
$35.
Get $35. Confidence in yourself. It looks good for recruiting.
Shows your club that the club is strong.
Shows the strong club. Right? Bragging rights.
Make your area director happy.
Make the area
It shows that you're overall covering all the bases.
You're covering all the bases. I know.
Thanks a lot, thanks for the followers of the team.
Absolutely. The followers are succeeding.
Well-rounded clubs.
Well-rounded clubs. Fantastic.
Will also make your division director happy.
Division director happy.
Make the trio happy.
Make the trio happy. Make international happy, absolutely.
Internal pride.
1 point.
There you go.
So these goals are valid if the membership requirement is met. Who can tell me what the membership requirement is?
20 or an echo 5.
10 or a net growth of 5. 20 or net growth of 5. Okay, so now, I'm a club. At the beginning of the year, I had 16 members. How many members do I need to have until the end of the year? 20.
Or more.
Or more, at least 20. If I have 12 members at the beginning of the year, how many members do I need to have at the end of the year for my points to count? 17. Any other aspect that is not clear about membership requirements?
Charter clubs. Are
Say that again.
exempt- Charter clubs are exempt from some of those things.
Do we have charter clubs?
The first year of the clubs and membership.
Okay, so the first year, so what is the
The first,
requirement?
I believe it's, I'm not exactly sure, but I think the first year they're somewhat exempt from the 20.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I know it's different.
yeah, so it's different, and so I don't know the specific rule. If you have a question about that, it's a great opportunity to go on Toastmasters website and then look it up. To be honest, I have not found a club that already had enough points by the end of the year. So, but yeah, excellent point. If there's an exception in your economic, please let's go to the Toastmasters website. Okay, so now we're going to go and talk about the different goals. So there's 4 types of goals. Okay, educational, leadership, membership, additional goals. I went to the end. Okay, so what is the first educational goal?
You have 2. Everybody that said it,
They got a point.
Okay.
What is the second goal? Okay. What is the value of having a club achieve CCs?
it demonstrates that they're working towards their educational goals for the club and for themselves.
For the individuals, because what did we say this morning? That everything is about members developing their communication and their leadership skills. So CCs, what does it help the members do?
It gets their foundation.
It gets their foundation, point. It gets their foundation. They learn about using their body language, their voice, organizing their speech, inspiring, using visual aids and whatnot. Excellent tool for the members to acquire the foundational basis. What other educational goals do we have? in the DEC? So advanced communicators. Advanced communicators. Okay, a bunch of advanced communicators, everybody has said has a point. What is the value to the member and to the club to have advanced communication growth?
And it helps the vice president of membership retain members to show, yes, there is something after CC that worth sticking around for.
Exactly, he's a role model, absolutely. What else?
Lead by example.
Lead by example, what else?
Beyond the basics.
Once you get people into doing teachers, then it almost becomes an addiction, so then they keep staying in members.
Yes. And so I would say that, so go ahead and then I'll read. Exactly. Exactly, so that's when the members can specialize in different areas. We have about 16 advanced communication manuals. And they serve as role models for the rest of the club.
And they, reading more.
Yes, and what did we say? Making meetings more interesting, it retains member. Therefore, the club is healthy. Therefore, the members benefit from it. So it's win-win all over the board for the club, for the member. The two are intertwined. So now, what is the next goals? What is the next DCP goal that we have beyond the CC and advanced communicator?
CL?
Yes, can you tell me a little bit more detail about the CL?
The competent leader book to do the, all the programs within that include being timer, planning different events, things like that.
What is the value of having people going through their competent leader manual?
Practice leadership.
Practice leadership, so that's for the members. Yeah. And what is the value for the club?
We should have to do the
Yes, people take on roles, absolutely. What else?
They don't lose points just because somebody bothered to do the paperwork.
Yes. What else? What is the value of having people gain their competent leader manual? What are some of the special projects that are included in the competent leader manual?
Membership building.
Membership building. Isn't that like the most difficult topic for a lot of clubs? Okay, that is brilliant. When you work on the DCP plan for the club, the members develop their skills and it serves the club. Again, win-win all over the board. What else is included in the competent leader goal? There's some additional details.
And sharing culture.
Yes. Yeah, people being involved beyond the club. Absolutely, and that's what engages a lot of the members and makes them stay longer.
Mentoring.
Mentoring, yes, thank you. Mentoring is part of the special projects that are part of this leadership goal. Okay, so now, what is the value of having these advanced leader and DTM roles?
Basic leadership skills.
Develop leadership skills for the individual. Any advantage for the club?
Keep pushing the club further with more experienced people.
More experienced people. The club benefits, the members benefit. Again, win-win. Any other aspects?
Career advancements.
Career advancements. Can you develop?
Okay, for instance, you get your, say, ALS. You can have a letter generated to your boss, your manager. You go, hey, I needed somebody to manage this project. And you get the letter in the morning, and he has to sign it that afternoon. Your timing's good.
Yeah, so it benefits the members for their career.
A raise.
I've actually gotten changed to a better department, a better job. And the promotion letter says that hope Jonathan brings along the leadership skills he learned in Toastmasters.
Okay, fantastic. So now we're going to count the points a little bit and then we're going to finish. So how many points do you have over there?
8.
10.
7.
18.
18? 18? Wow. How about you guys? 8? How many? 12. How many? 3? I don't know more. Okay, well, you're competing, so now I don't need to ask you questions anymore, guys.
Yes.
So, okay, now, membership goals. There's 2 things that are related to membership. We talked about one, which is the membership requirement for the points to count. What is the other membership requirement?
New members,
Get
4 additional members.
additional members. What is the other goal about membership?
Get another 4.
Another 4. 2 points.
What are we on?
Okay. Okay, and so now what are the other goals? We talked about a lot of them. What are the Use on time. Okay, so use on time. So you develop that. So dues, you need to pay one of the rounds on time, either the October one or the April one. And you need to have the officer list filed by June 30th, midnight, California time. That is in 20 days. What are you going to do to make sure that your clubs have filed their list of officers on time? Call. Very good. What else? Maybe, that works sometimes. What else?
Keep checking the website.
Yes, check the website. The information is updated regularly. And so it's, you know immediately. What else? Call them. Call them. Yep, call them. 1 point.
You can text them.
You can text them. Like, I'm a text person. Yes, I love text. What else are you going to do so that they find their list of officers?
Visit their club.
You visit their club. That is excellent. Congratulations. What else are you going to do so they find it on time?
So there's this last round, right after elections, I submitted it, the president submitted it, and one of our other vice presidents all submitted it. I got there first, but at the point, because I just went from home, but it was just kind of like, you can't just leave it up to one person. Because if you go in, it will show who it was, and next person can say, oh yeah, they're already entered, we're good.
Okay. Any other goal that we did not talk about?
Training, officers trained, both rounds, at least 4 of them.
Yes. Excellent. Yes. Say that here.
If you get all 7 officers trained on both the summer and the winter one, you become a magnificent 7 club, and you will get a ribbon at the spring convention.
So I have an example. It was the Northern Division, and it was a year ago. Yeah, last year. No, 2 years ago. Recently, we had like 95% of the clubs that were Magnificent 7. Who wants to achieve that for their area? Raise your hand. Stand up. Everybody in the back. And so now we'll be seeing the results on the website. So what would you recommend a club to do so that they utilize and leverage this?
Use the club success plan.
Club success plan, 1 point. What else?
Email them.
Email them. Mary.
Set goals for throughout the year, so you're not trying to do everything in the last 2 months.
Set goals throughout the year, so you're not trying to do everything in the last 2 months, and I want to say in the last 2 weeks, sometimes.
Find out who's doing what and follow up with them to see where they're at so that you can help them achieve their goals.
Exactly. Have a detailed goal with names so that you can follow up how you're tracking. Do we need to schedule you? Do we need to have a speech account so that you can deliver the additional speeches that are going to allow you to finish your points? Do we need to reserve a significant amount of time on your club schedule so that you can have the 10th point? Or is it the 9th point? 10th, exactly. So make it happen. Be thoughtful about it. You need to be focused on it so that it happens. And are you now convinced that there is value to the members and to the clubs of doing it? Like, what would you prefer? A club that's distinguished or a club that's not?
What, in regards to acting and stunt things in the theater, they always say take somebody along for the ride, but you can't do that in stunts. However, in Toastmasters, take somebody along on the journey for their success, recognizing them throughout the whole process.
Okay. So, the conclusion is that we have now understood the value of DCB. We now understand the different components. We know how to approach our clubs and convince them of the value of it. And so now it's time to see who won. So I'll start over here. How many points do we have?
11.
11 points. Over there in the back.
3.
3 points now?
Hey.
So, you asked me, you didn't see you were Oh, so you're just starting morning? Everybody's total.
Just give us 30 more.
You're at 20. How about you guys? 21. That is awesome. How about you in the back? Oh, we're at 22 now that we're making other
We're doubling it, 44.
For those that haven't attended discipline training, where it was a lecture versus this more engaging topic, which one did you prefer? More engaging? Did you get more out of it? Okay, so now what we want to do is to engage the participants by creating participatory learning situations using different learning, presentation styles, changing activities every 30 minutes, making sure that people move in the room, etc., etc. And so now we are going to do a quick exercise of 12 minutes where I'm going to ask you to stand up and then switch places at your table. You don't need to move very far. So go ahead, everybody stands up and picks a new place. That gets the energy flowing, the blood flowing. Okay.
Jane, you're in charge.
Each thing should be assigned. And then we'll report back on how you guys
And so we debated back and forth, and I wrote speech, and I gave the answer.
Oh.
Why is it? And if you can sell giving me you can sell everything. You can charge for marketing.
You have to know, we discovered that we changed our minds, we're gonna count this up a lot for training. Larry convinced me, because most of these people do training anyway, so. But we will have to have you sign in. Larry's gonna get I'm gonna have each division, what I'd like you to do.
One division.
Your division director is gonna input it, so you need to get that information on your division director.
She's also a member in my club. So.
Okay.
Our group talked about a couple of ideas that our clubs have seen. One of our clubs, we have a leadership coordinator. Here on this side of the group. Not loud enough. One of our clubs is talking about they have a leadership coordinator who at every meeting evaluates all of the meeting roles, and then that way people remember to check off the box on their CLs. So that's one really great way of making sure people are working towards their goals. Another way is, when you go visit a club, motivate people to set goals, because we can all just give some speeches. But if you say, hey, I know you want to give speeches, but do you want to get the first award? If so, let's work towards that. Maybe work with your Vice President of Education instead of your scheduling. Show a personal interest in each goal that members have set. So at the beginning of the year, do a club success plan or get club success plans. Try and understand what goals and what individuals are working towards those goals, and then follow up with them after a couple of months. Say, hey, how is so-and-so heading towards their goals? And also, we just talked briefly about reaching new Toastmasters, because I think newer folks don't understand the connection between their own progress and the club DCP. Okay, have you discussed maybe techniques that you could utilize in order to teach the DCP plan as trainers for your club officers? Okay. I think we kind of talked more broadly about not necessarily like a training technique, but we were discussing how to talk about all of what I said. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Hello. So our table talked about, while we're teaching DCP, we should find a way to potentially incorporate music and movement. For example, we all know that someone in this room likes the Macarena. So we could at least break it up, find a song that relates to goal setting, try to keep the energy level up while we explain the program.
Perfect, great idea. Congratulations.
Since food has been brought up several times, I decided to call it a distinguished club pizza. And the toppings would be the different goals, the CLs, the ACs. And if you've got all those toppings, but you have to have a crust. And the crust is the 20 members. Otherwise, you don't have the pizza.
Yeah, very original. Congratulations.
There you go.
Our idea is to do a PowerPoint presentation with a distinguished club goal, but specifically and on purpose, have words misspelled so that people can find them. When people point out your flaws, you would reward them with a little prize. Like you might hand someone, here, have a straw. Here, have a potato. So you're gonna have a bag of straws, and you're gonna have a bag of potatoes. When we get done, everyone in the room has one straw and one potato. And you literally, at the end, show them what you can do with a straw and potato. You show them how you can take and that straw and jam it right through the potato. If you try and if you have the insight to actually try it, you'll find that that straw pierces through that potato as easy as pie. Just a little speed, like a syringe, It'll go right through. You teach them that just because I don't think I can do it, doesn't mean I can't do it. You send that, leave that message. So, like the one slide said earlier, if you engage them, they'll learn it forever.
Very original, thank you.
So our group talked about the importance of hands-on training, and a lot of presidents are just handed DCP without really looking it up or knowing what to do with it. So we thought about bringing a laptop or iPad to training and make sure everyone logs in, sees where to find the DCP, because then they'll be more apt to use it in the future.
We work at Adventure, so we only have one foot outside the box right now. We decided that what we would like to do is leverage different speaking styles. So have multiple people help present the DCP plan. In addition, create teams for your officers within the DCP plan, and like have your presidents all jump up and present one point of the DCP plan. Have the treasurers jump up and present other points, another point, and go through your DCP plan that way.
Least. Thank you. Division G, we had thought maybe we would call the members all to the front for training in a Jeopardy kind of format. Or we could have it in a table topics format, and we could have speakers come up and speak. Free food is also welcome. And then we were thinking of DCP bingo with M&Ms. And we can also note that the CL could be achieved there. But one thing that I did not hear anyone else touch on, and is a general consensus of the G division, we have a concern about the 2.5 hour training. And that is, we feel that there's going to be a big drop in the number of officers trained, because a lot of these people are trained, particularly corporate clubs, they're trained during the meeting, usually takes an hour. What we'd like to put forth is maybe a webinar or an online learning session that could be available to train the officers to make up for that deficit that we anticipate happening.
Yeah. And so, Diane, being the training person for the district, what do you think about this last idea? And I will repeat the question for you, because I was talking to someone. The question was, there is a concern that the 2.5 hours will be such a hurdle that some people are not going to get trained. Could we supplement, or could we compensate for this lack of training for these officers that will not attend training by perhaps having a webinar?
Well,
did I rephrase?
It's supposed to be, it's all about the member, it's supposed to be making it easier. This is making it harder for the officers to all get trained.
Yes and no is the answer. Of course, you can provide supplemental training. However, Toastmasters International requires face-to-face training at this point for officers training. If you provide supplemental training, that does not count officially for officer training. And I do realize, especially for corporate companies or corporate clubs that have been used to being trained in their club, that this can be a hurdle. And I realize also that there probably will be a drop in the number of officers trained. But we are not going to compromise on the quality that's needed for club officer training. If someone has agreed to be a club officer, not that we require them to be trained, you can't force anybody to do anything, but they have taken on the responsibility to get trained. And they may need, if every division has 3 trainings, that would be, well, you know, some are going to be too far, but there will be multiple opportunities for someone to get trained, and they will just have to do it not at work, which will be a change for some. And we need to start somewhere making a change for quality officer training, and quality officer training is not going to happen in an hour or 45 minutes at a club meeting when there's no way you can go over all 7 roles adequately and also talk about having a quality club. So you can be an influencer as an area and division governor to encourage and persuade people that this will be worth their time. Talk about the benefits, about how they can work together better as club officers, how they can create a quality club that will help retain more members and attract more members, therefore by actually saving them time and headache, and that they can get that training by coming to a longer session.
Are you saying that this is also twice a year? 2.5 hours twice a year?
We have not specified the content, but yes. And who knows, next year it could be even longer. No. Well, in fact, a lot of the districts do have 4-hour officer training, and they will only have 6 to 8 opportunities for that training, and that's it. So it is a change in mind shift, a paradigm shift for a lot of club officers, that it is something that's not just in the club.
Can you break it up?
Yes, I will say the challenge in breaking it up is keeping track of who's come to both parts. And that then would require the area governor or whoever does the training to make 2 or 3 visits instead of just 1. That would not be the first choice. However, it would still meet the requirement of covering the content. So it wouldn't be an option, it would not be an option I would necessarily like, but it could be done.
Right.
Thank you.
If you were starting July 1, if you were
Over 2 more slides.
What about us?
If you have additional questions, please write them on the
Today's
table. Go ahead.
So I'm recording. I'm going to report out on how to make training on the DCP more fun. What we're going to do is that Sue Ann Rollins is going to create a unique and individual song, and she's going to trademark it and make it available for everybody. She's going to sing and dance for everyone. And movement. And movement. So, and then if you don't want to do that, we're going to play a game where everybody gets a pile of cards representing individual members and individual club goals, and they will, based on the cards that they get, add up the number of DCP points that they are going to earn based on the cards.
Hey, fabulous.
Again, the main point is adult learners that learn differently than when we were kids. We need to cater to their styles. Know your audience before you train in order to understand if you can draw them to share expertise or if they are new and you need to give them basic information such as what a CL means, such as what DTM means. And then what we're going to ask you to do is to fill a format with the people that have attended training. And we're going to ask you that you send it to the division director within 24 hours of delivering the training. And the form will be available on the website. I repeat, whenever you have delivered training, you need to fill this form and send it to the division director. You will be able to go on the District 6 website and keep track of the training. And because this process is very manual, I would encourage you to compare the list you will have emailed to what's on the website to make sure that there are no mistakes. And that every officer that has attended training gets credit for it. Here is the view on the Toastmasters International website. And when people have attended training, you have a bunch of tick marks, and in the last column, you know how many officers have attended training. And with that, I am now going to return the lecture
to our district director.
Is this working? All right, there we go. All right, let's give a round of applause to Elena and Ben. Before we wrap up, we have sign-in sheets going around. There should have been one at every table.